you so much for joining us and tuning in for Earth Day Yoga. I'm sitting outside on my front porch here in Bend, Oregon. There are lots of little birds chirping about in the bushes and the trees around my house. The sun is shining, so it's a good day to be out here. So I'm glad we could join. I'm excited to connect with you all and our surroundings a bit more this morning. What a great way to kick off the day. So here we are. My name is Rebecca Ratcliffe. I'm the Outreach Associate for the Deschutes Land Trust, and I'll be doing my best to facilitate our event today. So if you have any questions or anything comes up, you can shoot me a message in the chat. As a reminder, and Marette mentioned this just a little bit, sometimes it's helpful if we all keep ourselves on mute so that we can hear Marette better. Once we get started, her video will be spotlighted so that you can see her more clearly. And do let me know if you're having any trouble with your audio or video. Let me know. It's not, you don't need to have your video on for this practice, but you're more than welcome to. So we'll be glad to have you here. And then for those of you who are not yet familiar, the Deschutes Land Trust is a conservation organization local to Bend, Oregon. We currently protect and care for over 17,000 acres of critical wildlife habitat, incredible streams, and the stunning natural beauty that we are celebrating today on Earth Day. So as we continue to have our in-person walks and hikes changing and shifting during this time, we're excited to have these virtual events where we can have folks from Rome and Vermont and Oregon all coming together, and so many other places coming together to celebrate Earth Day here with Marette. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that you, like some folks out here, it looks like are on porches or in backyards or enjoying some sunshine. So I'm glad we can get outside and connect together virtually. If you're enjoying the virtual content or want to join us for another virtual event, you can check out more virtual events at DeschutesLandTrust.com or .org. And you'll be able to find all of our walks and hikes online, and you can register and sign up for another one. We'll be glad to have you. Then if you enjoy this event today and you want to help us celebrate Earth Day by making a donation, we would so appreciate your support to help continue caring and protecting these lands that we love so much and are celebrating today. So I will be sure to post some links in the chat for that. Hello to many Land Trust members that are joining today. It's good to see you, good to have you, good to see you again. Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our host today, who you have met just a little bit already, Marette. Marette has been an ecologist for the Forest Service for the past 20 years. She is an expert on some wildflowers in the area, some found only in Sisters, Oregon, and nowhere else in the world. She has been hosting tree yoga and other walking meditations for the Deschutes Land Trust for many years and has been an excellent and long-time supporter of our work and advocate for conservation in the area. So thank you so much, Marette, and I will go ahead and spotlight you and we can get started.
Thank you, Rebecca. So for everybody just coming in, gathering up your props, make sure you have a nice comfortable place to lie down where you're going to be warm and safe, and a chair. And if you don't have a chair, if you're actually outside, maybe you have a tree or a wall, that would also work. But chairs are probably the easiest way to stay connected. I am Marette, and I teach yoga for Life Love Yoga here in Sisters, Oregon. I teach a mix of styles, restorative, gentle, strengthening practices. And lately I've been kind of focused on a practice for healthy aging, which we are all doing. I am a founding member of the Land Trust and a biologist, so it's great for me to meld my two loves of yoga and nature in this way. And I hope that you continue to support the Land Trust or other organizations that you care about that protect the earth on this beautiful Earth Day. So the plan is today we're going to play with some storks, some bugs, some waterfalls, some mountains, some stars, some pigeons, the moon, and the trees. And we'll visit one of your favorite places on earth. We're going to use our chairs to help make the practice accessible to everybody. Sometimes our balance comes and goes. And I do plan to do a little bit of standing work today, just because our balance is so important, especially as we get older. So we'll have the chair or a wall or a tree nearby for a little backup, and a blanket, maybe two if you get cold. When we do our standing poses, I encourage you to maybe experience those with bare feet, just to get the maximum benefit if your feet are warm enough. And so safety is always our first concern. I can't see you. There's a lot of people online, and most people turn their cameras off for privacy, and that's great. I encourage that. That's the beauty of Zoom. You can make as much noise and look any way you want, wearing whatever you like. So I can't see you, so please take any of my cues as suggestions and keep yourself safe. You are your own best teacher. You know what works and doesn't, and what hurts and what doesn't. If you pay attention to pain, if you have sharp nerve pain or any shooting pains, anything like that, please back off. And sometimes yoga does cause discomfort, and we're gonna maybe feel a little tightness, but it shouldn't cause pain. And then just a word, if you are outside, it's a bit windy here. Anytime you do yoga outside, it's always important to look up and down for hazards. So look up at the tree, maybe that you're under, and make sure there's not a branch hanging there or something that's going to fall on you in a wind. Even a pine cone can hurt. And also make sure you know what you've put your mat down on. If there's an ant nest, things like that, it's always important to take a look around. So let's begin on our backs. We're going to lie down on our back, grabbing a blanket. And just getting comfortable, finding your toes on your back, letting yourself lie down gently, and checking in with your head, keeping your blanket handy. And if your head feels like it's arched back and your neck is sort of arching and you're on the top of the back of your head, just maybe bring a little blanket under your head to straighten your neck out so it's nice and straight and long and relaxed. Maybe letting your feet come out towards the edges of the mat, letting your knees kind of come together in a little teepee as a way to rest a little bit. Bringing your arms out to your side, and just begin to arrive on this beautiful Earth Day. Begin to arrive wherever you are, letting go of your morning and your afternoon and just being here now. Yoga is all about union. So we're so happy to be together today, and also to be together thinking about the earth and all of that is done for us this past year in particular. Letting yourself feel where you're connected. Do you feel your feet on the mat, on the earth? Do you feel your hips and your low back, mid back, and upper back connecting with the earth? Maybe roll your head just slowly back and forth a little bit, connecting the back of your head with the earth. And start to feel that beautiful earth energy seeping into your body. Those cool, earthy energies grounding us, supporting us, protecting us. Just letting that earth energy seep into your body where you're connected to the mat. And just for a moment, listen. What do you hear around you? Do you hear the wind in the trees? Maybe inside you'll hear some noises of your home. Maybe there's far off sounds of birds or traffic. It's just a way to ground ourselves and come into the present moment. And then do a quick scan on your mind. What are you thinking about today? Is there anything that is troubling you that you can just acknowledge and say yes, but set it in the corner, give it a nice chair and a cup of tea, and give it a little distance. Scan your body to see if there's any spots that are achy or cold or hot or tight. And then bring your fingertips to your belly. And see if you can feel how it feels to direct a little breath into your belly so that your stomach starts blowing up like a little balloon and deflating. Just nice slow breaths into the belly, maybe breathing through the nose to come into your breath. And experiment with exhaling through the mouth, letting it all come out with a sigh. The beauty of Zoom, you can make a sigh or a groan or make a noise and nobody knows. Just a chance to let the breath come and go. Breathing into the belly, initiating that diaphragmatic breath that helps us understand we're not in danger right now. Even though we felt like we were in danger much of this year, right now we're safe. Letting your belly rise and fall. And as you continue to rest on your back, just comfortably breathing now, letting go of the belly breath, just comfortably breathing. I'll invite you on a little meditation. Meditation is one of the great tools that we have in yoga to help us become more mindful and sometimes take a little break. So I'll invite you to think about how nature has helped you in the last year. Are there places that you've gone to over and over again, physically to take a walk, or in your mind, just to take a break? So find a place that you love in your mind, one of your favorite places on earth. It can even be imaginary, a place you've never been. Or it can be right where you are, in your home, on your deck, in the sun with your pup and your friend. Find that happy place. Imagine yourself lying there in your happy place, a favorite place in nature that makes you feel safe and protected. And imagine what you hear there. Imagine what's going on around you, whether you're lying on the beach, listening to the waves, or whether you're in a forest, listening to the birds, or whether you're in a meadow, watching the flowers bob up and down in the wind. Find that place. And then see if there's a thought of gratitude that comes to you about what that place has meant to you this year, how it's helped you. And besides that thought of gratitude, see if perhaps there's an intention you'd like to set for your practice today on Earth Day. Is there an intention you'd like to follow in terms of making this place that you love more protected, cleaning it up, volunteering for a favorite organization, doing whatever you can to support nature as it has supported us in this last difficult year? So see if you find an intention or an action that you'd like to think about. Now, let's come back from our happy place. Just begin to move gently. Letting our arms float up towards the sky. And taking a deep breath in to the belly and out through the mouth. And reaching up a little bit higher with the right arm towards the sky, and then letting your shoulder blade come back down, and then reaching up a little bit higher with your left arm, and then letting the shoulder blade come back down. And now, just at your own pace, reaching up, letting your shoulder blades come off of the mat, off of the earth, as you reach for the sky, starting to warm ourselves up, loosening up our shoulders, our upper back, which takes a lot of beating when we're bent over our computers and our phones all day long. And just moving side to side as it feels comfortable and safe. Let's meet up with our hands up and let your hands find opposite elbows. So you're making a little square right in front of your face, holding on to your elbows. And now letting your elbows drift over to the right, just as far as they feel comfortable, feeling a little bit of stretch on the left arm. And with an inhale, coming back up to center. With an exhale, letting your arms release to the other side. Just taking a beat. And inhaling them back up to center. And just at your own pace now, letting your arms go from side to side. Starting to feel into the upper arms, the shoulders, the neck. Using your inhales to help you bring your arms back up. Using your exhales to let go of everything that don't need to hold on to. Just releasing. And let's meet up with our little square in front of our face, and then let your arms, your hands slide up your shoulders until you find your shoulders, and let your hands cup your shoulders. Maybe letting your elbows stack up on top of each other. So you're making a really tight hug, hugging yourself with one elbow on top of the other, holding onto your shoulders. Give yourself a little love. Rock your shoulders back and forth on the mat, just a tiny bit. Little rocking hug. And take a peek and see which elbow's on top. And switch elbows and switch hands. And crossing into the opposite little hug. Finding that hug and then doing a little bit more gentle rocking side to side. And now letting your hands find your shoulders and just squeezing them. Checking in with your shoulders and your upper arms, seeing if there's any places that feel tight or achy, giving yourself a little squeezing massage on the way down to your elbows. Maybe bringing one arm up to your shoulder and squeezing your shoulder, bringing your hand to your shoulder and squeezing it a little bit. Digging fingers into any little tight spots. And then taking the other hand to the opposite shoulder, squeezing that shoulder a bit, checking in with how that feels. We all need a massage, don't we? Luckily, we can always give ourselves one. Squeezing the shoulders, squeezing the upper arms a little bit, checking in with any tight spots. Beautiful. And then letting your arms slowly extend out to your sides, onto the earth and just checking in for a moment. How do you feel? Deep breath in and let it all go. Moving our feet out towards the edges of the mat if they're not there, and letting our knees come over to the right, just as far as it feels comfortable. Maybe just waiting a beat. And then with an inhale, bringing your knees back up to center. And with an exhale, releasing them to the left. Waiting a beat. And with an inhale, bringing them back up to center. And now nice and lazy, just letting your knees windshield wiper from side to side at your own pace. If you find that one side is more interesting for you and you'd like to pause there for a moment, then please do. It's your practice. Moving just at your own pace, seeing how it feels to link the breath with our movement. Exploring if there's differences in side to side, not judging, just being curious. Just a few more. And let's meet up. Let's meet up with our knees towards the ceiling, lying on our back. Our arms are outstretched to the side. And now let's start exploring some poses like the dead bug. Bugs are so important, insects are so important in our world. We don't want to see dead bugs, but let's do dead bug for a few moments to work on our core. So dead bug, you lift up your legs like you're sitting in an invisible chair. So your legs are at a 90-degree angle. The legs are bent. The knee is bent. So we're sitting in an invisible chair, but we're lying on our back. This can be plenty. So if this is enough, please feel free to stay here. You might put your hands on your thighs and feel how strong your legs are. And then really bring a little attention to your lower back. Snuggle it against the earth. We don't want to stress our lower back. Sometimes it's a bit grouchy with these kind of poses. Now straightening out the right leg just as far as it feels comfortable. It doesn't have to go very far. Just straightening the right leg and straightening the left leg. Let's try that a few more times. See how that feels. Just straightening them out one at a time from our invisible chair, our little chair on our back. And then let's take our right leg out and our right arm behind us, just as far as it feels safe and appropriate. If you have shoulder mischief going on, make sure you're responsive and don't hurt yourself. Just go a little bit. And then let's come back and reach the left leg and arm out to straight. And continue from side to side. Same arm, same leg, just reaching in our little dead bug dance. Keeping the core tight, belly button towards the spine. Feeling the strength of your core as you move. Anytime if it gets too much, you can always let your legs down, take a bit of a rest. And then let's meet back up in our invisible chair and tease our brains a little bit. See how our brains are working this morning for opposites. Can you extend your left leg and your right arm? And then back to center. extend your right leg and your left arm. And back to center. And now just continuing with this little brain teaser of opposite arm and leg, continuing at your own pace. Continuing to engage the core, belly button towards the spine, lower back, safe on the ground, not arching. And just reaching and stretching at your own pace, just as far as it feels safe and appropriate. But we're working on our strength to go out there and help take care of the earth. Just a few more. And then letting your legs come down to the floor, feet touching the ground. Knees are still bent. And try a little windshield wiper again, letting the knees come to one side and the other. And if you've built up a little tension in the core, it might feel good when you get over on a side to push that top hip forward a little bit. Kind of open up the front of the hip that we've been working the psoas. Open up, stretch into the abs. Just a few windshield wipers. Beautiful. And rolling gently onto your belly. If you have a blanket in the way, just moving that out of the way so you can come to your belly, lying on your front, maybe cushioning your head with your hands. And again, check in with your breath. Can you feel your belly press against the mat as you breathe in? And deflate as you breathe out, feeling the earth support you, cuddle you. Just resting here with the earth for just a moment. And then taking a little wiggle with the hips, letting the hips sway back and forth, like you have a tail that's wagging. Just keeping your legs on the ground. And then let your feet stretch up for the sky, just bending the knees again. And windshield wiper from side to side. Feels a little different on our belly. Just windshielding from side to side. Letting the feet come back down to the mat. And connecting the top of your feet with the earth, feeling yourself pressing into the ground. And your pubic bone, feeling that part of your body pressing into the ground. And now we're going to see if we can bring our hands closer to our shoulders and just lift up our shoulders and our upper chest for just a moment. Maybe bringing our elbows underneath us, hands in front. If this feels tweaky for your lower back, you can bring your elbows out a little bit farther so it's not as deep of a back bend. We're doing just a little back bend here. Just breathing here, finding your little back bend for today. And then slowly letting yourself come back down to the mat. Resting for a beat. We'll try it one more time. This time we're going to go into the snake world. We're going to do a floating baby cobra. It's really fun and a lot easier than it sounds. Let's bring our elbows a little bit behind our shoulders, our elbows in close to our body. Our hands are just tucked in right in front of us. And now let's see if we can lift our shoulders and our upper body and our hands off the ground all at the same time. Floating, baby cobra, holding ourselves up with the strength of our core, the strength of our body, the strength of our back, that strong back that we balance with a gently open heart. Just a few more beats here and then releasing. Ooh. Deep breath into the belly and getting ready to move. Bringing our hands a little bit farther back, tightening up the core to protect our lower back. We're going to push ourselves into hands and knees. Just for a moment, coming up onto our hands and knees in a tabletop position. And then coming back, just leaning back and sitting on your heels for just a moment. Stretching out the top of your feet. And taking your hands and twinkling them in front of your face like you're playing a piano. Maybe stretching your hands out into a big star shape, wide fingers, and then bringing them into a fist. And then stretching them out wide again and bringing them into the claw shape of the bobcat, the cougar, all those little cats that are out there running around in nature. Now opening again into the star, fist, claw, open, fist, claw, open into the star, and now into the claw, and open into the star and into the claw. And then shaking our hands out and finding a nice way to stand up. If you haven't taken your socks or your shoes off, this might be a good time to do it. We're going to do little standing poses that are so important for us, keeping our balance. It's hard to keep our balance this year, isn't it? So standing for a moment, having your chair nearby or a wall or a tree, because our balance comes and goes. It's perfectly natural. Some days we've got it, some days we don't, and it's okay. Standing with your feet under your hips, lifting your toes up to say hello, see if they're listening to you. Will they lift up? Will they go back down? Sometimes our toes stop listening. It's good to keep them moving. Maybe wave them a few times. Now just working our way up with our sensation, thinking about coming up the legs, firming the muscles around our legs, lifting our kneecaps, bringing our belly button in towards the spine, letting our shoulders descend down the back, shoulder blades snuggling together, head floating light on your neck towards the sky. Maybe letting your hands come out towards the screen and envisioning your favorite mountain as we stand here in mountain pose, pulling up earth energy into our feet and into our legs and into our hips and above, keeping us grounded and strong through all kinds of weather. Just thinking of that beautiful mountain in its stillness. Now perhaps opening your eyes, and we'll explore our balance a little bit on our feet, doing a really fun pose called the Tin Man. If you've ever seen Wizard of Oz, remember when the Tin Man didn't, before he got the oil, he was kind of circling on his feet. So letting your weight come to your heels, the side of your feet, the forward and the other side, making a little circle Your arms are out a little bit to help you balance. And we're just circling around our feet, feeling into all those edges and sides of our feet. And then reversing the circle, going the opposite direction in the Tin Man Asana. A great way to sort of check in on your balance and really start waking up the bottom of your feet. Beautiful. Now, making sure you've got your chair handy in case you need it. Let's just try lifting up one knee, bending the knee and lifting it up like you're walking in place. Maybe the other knee, lifting it up and holding it for a moment. Maybe you want to do this with one hand on a tree or on a chair. But lifting one knee up and then the other. Beautiful. All right. Now, making sure your chair is there if you need it. We can hold on with one hand. Let's lift the knee that's closest to the chair and hold. Really rooting down through that standing leg, tightening the muscles around the bones, snuggling them up, core coming in, belly button towards the spine, standing strong. Maybe you can let go in the stork pose. Standing, holding, and maybe you want to bring your arms out into a little bit of a balancing pose with your arms coming up towards the sky and back down. Let's try lifting both hands in front of us and back down. Beautiful. All right, let's change sides. If you want to, you can move your chair if it feels more secure, or just turn around. Lifting the opposite knee up. Finding that grounding in the standing leg. Strong through the legs and the core and the hips. Belly button towards the spine. Maybe letting go. Finding your stork. Some people call it flamingo. And then let's see if we can lift one arm up and then the other arm up. Switching sides, one arm lifting, the other arm lifting. Beautiful. A few more moments. And then letting your feet come back down, shaking it out. Let's try it one more time. Let's try dancing stork. Come back to our original side, lifting our knee up. And then I invite you to move your arms in whatever way you'd like, perhaps letting them lift in front of you, maybe as if you were in flight to your side. Maybe one arm goes up and the other arm goes down. Because the interesting thing with balance is that it's a lot easier to hold it when we're not moving. But when we move, it becomes a little bit more real and a little bit more challenging. So moving your arms in whatever way you like, that's fun for you. Maybe arm circles, standing on that leg, beautiful. Shaking it out, coming back. And again, if this is too much, holding on to your chair. Trying it with the other side, opposite leg lifts, grounding that foot. Maybe holding on and doing it with one arm, but starting to put some movement into your arms and shoulders. Maybe checking out how it is on this side with no arms, holding on to the chair. Maybe moving the arms, flying, or painting, doing Tai Chi with your stork. Whatever movement you enjoy. A few more seconds playing around, because yoga is a practice. It's okay to fall gently and safely. Always keep yourself safe. Shake it all out. All right. Letting our arms stretch up overhead. Grabbing our left wrist with our right hand and bending over to the side in a half moon stretch, putting some weight in the foot that is opposite the way we are leaning. And then coming back up to straight, grabbing the opposite wrist with the opposite hand, stretching over, side body opens, feeling weight in that opposite foot, staying grounded. Beautiful. Let's just play with a little star shape. So I'll demonstrate this by holding the chair in front of me. And this is a nice way to start for you too, to see how it goes. Holding onto your chair, just letting one of your legs come out to the side, balancing on the other leg. And then coming out to the other side, balancing on the standing leg. And just try that a few times. It's all dependent on our history and our joint replacements and our injuries. But just play around and see how it feels. Okay, if that feels, you can stay right there. We can also try making a star shape, letting our arm reach up for the sky, palm away from us, and letting our opposite leg stretch out into a sliding star. Maybe try that to the opposite side. Arm comes up, palm facing away, leg comes out, holding onto the chair in a little sliding star. Now, if that's totally easy for you and you'd like a little bit more challenge, you can try it without holding onto the chair, coming on to reaching out to the side and feeling your hand slide down your thigh, feeling that strong leg, reaching out to the side, coming back to center, arm rises, palm facing away from you, opposite leg stretches out as you stand in a sliding star. Hand feeling the strength of your leg. Let's try whichever sliding star is your juju for today. A few more times. Beautiful. Shake it out. Just a way to play. And trees are always one of my favorite things to think about in yoga, the qualities of a tree, their strength, their flexibility. So let's mess around a little bit with tree. Again, having your chair handy, standing on strong on one foot, and bringing your toe of the opposite foot to the ground, maybe having your ankle touching against your standing leg. I'm going to call this one baby tree. You might try just holding this here. Maybe this is super simple for you. If it is, maybe you want to bring your foot up to your calf if you like a little bit more challenge. Maybe you want to go full-blown tree with your foot up into your thigh. But we're just going to play around with baby. So do whatever form of tree you like, but make sure you understand this little baby tree because we're going to need to do this in just a moment. Let's try it to the other side. Baby tree, standing on one leg, ankle, our heel is on towards the ankle of our standing leg. We're standing strong. Maybe we let go. Maybe we bring our foot to the calf. Maybe we go higher. Trees, strong, flexible, patient. They shelter so many things, including us. They're pretty resilient to some kinds of disturbance, and they grow sometimes after disturbance, like our fire-prone trees here. All right, so we've played around with a tree. Now I'd like to show you this fun little balance sequence. So again, having your chair in front of you, putting one foot next to the chair, facing the chair, and the opposite leg back at a bit of an angle. This would be called a warrior one foot, that kind of a short one. So having one foot forward, the opposite foot back at a bit of an angle. Having your chair in front of you to grab, and then bending that front knee, finding your warrior stance with a bent front knee. The knee is over the ankle, not in front. Great strength move, good for building our strength of our legs and our hips. And now we'll practice a few times coming forward onto the front foot and back, pushing off the back foot forward and back. One more time, just pushing off and coming to standing. All right, now let's put it all together. Bend that front knee. Comfortable warrior stance. Come forward into a baby tree. Maybe even lifting an arm and growing a branch, or not. Maybe just one branch today. Beautiful. Let's try that again. Warrior one, bent front knee. Pushing forward into a baby tree. Having a branch grow, maybe a second branch, maybe just one branch. Maybe we're blowing around in the wind. Whew. And then coming back, we'll try it to the other side. Opposite foot comes forward. Other foot back. At an angle. Bending that front knee. First, we're going to practice. Just having the chair here, pushing forward. Coming off that back foot, pushing forward. Again, bending the knee, pushing forward to a straight stance. And finally, bending the front knee, standing strong in our stance. And coming forward into a baby tree. Maybe growing a branch, maybe growing two. Coming back into our warrior and stepping again into a baby tree, playing around. Perfect. Maybe one more time. Bending that front knee, coming forward. Baby tree, lifting our arms up to the sun in gratitude. And coming back to straight, stretching everything out. And now coming to our bellies again. And we'll do some restorative, more yin-like pose here to finish up our practice now that we've been working so hard. Coming down to your belly and having your blanket handy, especially if your knees are very sensitive. So coming to your belly and letting your arms extend back in front of you in a little bit of a V shape. And now taking your left knee towards your left hand. So it's out to the side and you're making the shape of a little frog leg. Your knee is bent. Your upper leg is extending straight down from the knee. This is where you might find comfort in putting a little cushioning under that knee. And once you have your knee out in a nice half sleeping frog, this pose is called. So knee is bent, lower leg is going straight out like you saw a frog swimming. This is what their legs would look like, but we're only doing half a frog. And then settling back down onto your belly, maybe having your hands cushioning your head. And I've really been enjoying melding poetry and yoga lately. So I'll read you a few poems as we work on opening up our inner leg and also just communing with the earth. So as you rest, just bringing yourself back to comfortable breathing. And maybe imagine yourself in a meadow, the most beautiful meadow you've ever seen. Maybe it's covered with wildflowers, gentle wind. Here's a love poem to a meadow by Hiram LaRue. I want to marry this field, truly and simply, with its wings curving the corners and its smoothness stunning my knees. All of my heart is here, far around me, and there's humming and leaning, even the trifling breeze. I want this field for my living, to vow to its edges that nothing comes true without greening. Nothing seems as bold as my longings except sloping. Nothing wakes on my shoulder but rustling. I hope the strangest hopes in this field, ever bending. From here, I know this much of my all is clear. Before there were hills or even eyes to up over, there was a distance beyond us, a long, far away that can never come near. There was wishing. I want to carry this field in my arms by its being to a maybe that's certain, so that our future can flicker on grasses and our children will wave from the clouds. Just take a moment more to absorb that poem and any images or thoughts that come up. And then slowly disengage yourself by rolling over towards the center, like you're rolling onto your side and letting your knee release and letting it straighten out behind you and wiggling the hips back and forth a little bit and getting set up for the other side. So if you found a blanket helpful, letting your arms extend again out to your side in a little V shape, bringing the opposite knee to meet your hand, finding a comfortable spot for your knee, and then slowly working your way back onto your belly as much as it feels comfortable, cushioning your head with your hands, and taking our second side. And as we continue to lie in our beautiful meadow, I offer this poem by Mary Oliver. The poppies send up their orange flares, swaying in the wind. Their congregations are a levitation of bright dust, of thin and lacy leaves. There isn't a place in this world that doesn't sooner or later drown in the indigos of darkness. But now, for a while, the roughage shines like a miracle as it floats above everything with its yellow hair. Of course, nothing stops the black, cold, curved blade from hooking forward. Of course, loss is the great lesson. But I also say this, that light is an invitation to happiness. And that happiness, when it's done right, is a kind of holiness, palpable and redemptive. Inside the bright fields, touched by their rough and spongy gold, I am washed and washed in the river of earthly delight. And what are you going to do? What can you do about it, deep blue night? Just take a few more moments here, exploring any images or thoughts that come up. And then we are going to release our knee by rolling over to our side a little bit, letting our legs straighten out. And rolling onto our back. Maybe taking some last movements, bringing a knee into the chest and the opposite knee into the chest, holding on to both of your knees, a little rock and roll back and forth, maybe circling the knees, making that little massaging movement around the sacrum. The other side, massaging, rolling around. And when you're ready, letting your legs extend out and letting your arms extend out on the earth, finding a comfortable place. Yeah, and letting it all go. This pose, our final pose, is called Shavasana, which means corpse pose. They say that by practicing this pose, we prepare for our own eventual leaving of this planet. It's supposed to be the most important pose of the day, integrating all the things that our body has gone through. So take time to just consciously relax your feet. Let them get heavy, your calves, your legs soften, your hips soften. Letting your lower back feel heavy on the earth. Your mid back, shoulders, arms, hands, head being supported. All your work is done. Just rest for a moment, floating on this earth. Resting, mind clearing. Sometimes, as an antidote to the fear of death, I eat the stars. Those nights, lying on my back, I suck them from the quenching dark till they are all inside me, pepper hot and sharp. Sometimes, instead, I stir myself into a universe still young, still warm as blood. No outer space, just space. The light of all the not yet stars drifting like a bright mist. And all of us and everything already there, but unconstrained by form. And sometimes it's enough to lie down here on earth beside our long ancestral bones, to walk across the cobble fields of our discarded skulls, each like a treasure, like a chrysalis, thinking, whatever left these husks flew off on bright wings. Rebecca Elson. Bring your attention back into your space. Waking up for the second time today, wiggling fingers and toes and small movements to start. And when you're ready, just slowly rolling over to your side and spending a few breaths there. Just taking it easy, slowly. When you're ready, pushing yourself up into a seated position that's comfortable, keeping your eyes heavier shut. Then we'll meet back. Bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Just for a moment, reconnecting with that intention that you set at the beginning of our practice today. Your intention for your favorite place, your intention for maybe helping the earth in your gratitude for all that it's done for us and continues to do, our beloved planet. and sending out these thoughts of loving kindness to all of us as we join together. May we be safe and protected. May our hearts remain open. May we awaken to the light of our true nature. May we be healed and be a source of healing for the world. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste. And as always, we're happy to have feedback. Rebecca will be sending out a form that you can give detailed comments on. And I'm also happy to hear your feedback right now in chat or orally if you'd like to say anything. I think you can unmute yourselves. And otherwise, I hope to see you again. There'll be a few more of these virtual yoga presentations and maybe even one in person in a beautiful sunlit forest next to Indian Ford Meadow this summer. We'll see.